We're approaching that time of the season where I was expecting bigger clubs to start sniffing around. However, they're sniffing around my goalkeeper rather than me, which wasn't part of the plan. Hello and welcome to Club 2 Part 12 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kev, and coming up on today's episode, we're away against Oxford and then at home against Chelmsford, both in the Vanarama National South. Is that what it's called? That's a stupid name. Is that really what it's called? National League South. That makes more sense. That makes a lot more sense. Right, what I was talking about before we started, let's deal with that first up. Our goalkeeper, Bobby Biddle, is currently on trial at Nottingham Forest. They came in and asked to take him on a week's trial, and I thought, you know what? He's only on contract with us until the end of the season. He is interested. Hang about. Last time I looked at this, he wasn't interested in signing a new one. We'll blooming offer him a new one, that's for sure. Just to try and make sure that if he decides to go to Forest, they have to pay us a fee. There we go. So we've got him tied down for another year, hopefully. But my theory is, Forest are a big club. They've got lots of money. If he goes there and impresses on his trial, they might come in and offer us some cash. And we could really do with some cash because we're massively in debt. The projection says we're going to get massively in debtor. And we've got no transfer budget and we're way over our wage bills. So we could kind of use... I mean, imagine if they gave us 100 grand or 200 grand for him. I mean, we're still going to be in the red, but things are going to look a lot more secure and we might get, in fact, looking at that, we wouldn't get any of it to spend. What is the point of letting him go? We're playing without our keeper today for no benefit to me. Unless they offer us like £1 million, in which case that would be amazing. But I am thinking that we're probably doing about as well as we're going to do with Bath. Based on the amount of money we've got. We've got a very, very small wage budget and we do have a decent team, but as soon as we get any kind of injuries or disruption to it, we start to struggle. So we have these little good runs of form and then we lose a player here and there. I don't even know who it is we lost at this point, but there was bound to be somebody. In fact, let's have a look at the team there, see who wasn't playing. Ovenden wasn't. There you go. Ovenden was just coming back for an injury. Or was he? Or was I resting players? Who cares? The point is, we're inconsistent. It was last week. This whole having the weekends off confuses me. But we are still 6th in the league. We're only 7 points off the top of the table, just past the halfway point of the season, and a couple of wins today, and we can be right back in the automatic promotion hunt. But really, everyone involved is going to be happy if we hit the playoffs. So... fingers crossed, we hit the playoffs. It is nice to see Lewis Robles is top average rating player in the league, plus top for assists in the league, and Rittenberg is 3rd top scorer in the league. So we are very good going forward. Not so much at the back, but who cares about defensively, especially if we're about to lose our keeper. So this is our team for today. We are giving a debut to Ashley Maynard Brewer, the goalkeeper that we took on loan from Charlton at the start of the season because we thought he was going to be brilliant, but in fact we gave Biddle the start in the first game of the season and he's been an ever-present all the way through since then. So Maynard Brewer gets a chance to come in and impress, and then depending on what happens with Biddle, he'll either come back and go back into the team or he'll go off to Forest and they'll hand us cash. I don't really know what else to expect. A back four of Sharp, Allen, Stone and Barrett, with Rowe, Akinbuini, Clutton and Henchcliffe in midfield, and then Rittenberg and Robles up front. I feel like we made a signing towards the end of last week as well. Did we make a signing? We did. We signed a defender. We signed Leo Chambers, and we signed him because Ben Goodliff decided he wanted to leave. So he was one of our backup defenders. We brought him in the summer. He never played. He's gone out to Basingstoke, and we've replaced him with someone who's better than him. Leo Chambers is a 3-star centre-back who can also play at right-back. He's our best right-back at the club, and in theory as good as Lionel Stone at centre-back as well. So I think he's a good piece of business. I think we'd signed Jordan Stevens before on loan, haven't we? I think we had. Chambers is going to sit on the bench today because he's still not close to match fit, having only signed fairly recently. But I think he's played a few games for us. One game. Like I say, it was last week. He's played one game, but he will come into this team eventually in any of those 3 positions, really. He's going to be offering competition for places. So I think that was a decent upgrade. And I'd be looking to do the same with Biddle. I think we've got the basis of a good team now. If we can keep this team together, whether we go up this year, whether we go up next year, I think we've got the basis of a decent squad, bearing in mind the tiny, tiny amount of money that we've got available to us. If we can move the right people on, Jack Compton, who's never going to get in the team again because Rowe is a hero, Here, Rowe. Oh, what a name. But if we can move him on and then just gradually upgrade players one by one like we have with bringing Chambers in, then I think we're in with a really good chance of putting together a good team. And Dean Rittenberg, with what is that, his 17th goal of the season, puts us 1-0 up 6 minutes into the game, and that should shoot us up the league table, actually. There you go, moves us up to 4th place as things stand, and that's a lovely header from Rittenberg. And I cannot believe that we signed him on the basis that he was going to come in and be our 4th choice striker, because he has been an absolute superstar. Same as Rowe. Rowe was brought in on the basis that he was going to be a backup to Compton, and he's been brilliant. I was talking about this on my stream last night, that, and if you don't watch the streams, by the way, we're doing one again tonight, 9 PM, if you're watching this episode as it first comes out. But we were talking on the stream last night about scouting and coaching in FM18 compared to on previous versions of the game, and although it's always been a little bit erratic at this level, I think this year more than any year previously, I don't know if it's just because I'm at weaker clubs, so the scouting is even worse, but my scouting is utterly terrible. So every player that we bring in is a bit of a gamble, and some players like Maynard Brewer, or is that his name, the goalkeeper we brought in on loan, who was coming in as a 4-star player who's going to be a proper, really good goalkeeper. He came in, and when we actually had a proper look at him in the team, he weren't any good. And then you get someone like Rittenberg or Rowe, who we sign on the basis of that we just need a player. Any player, he's cheap, he's not very good, but he fills a body in the squad, and then they come in and they're absolutely superb. And I love that. I love the unpredictability of some signings who you don't expect to do well do brilliantly, and some who you think are complete bankers just end up being family friendly, Kev, just end up being completely rubbish. And I like that. I think that's really cool, and I think it adds to the difficulty, and it's one of the reasons, just one of the reasons, why managing in the lower leagues in FM18 is that much harder than it's ever been before. Robles tries to tuck it over to Rittenberg. It doesn't quite get there, but Robles does score. We're 3-0 up now after 23 minutes. Lewis Robles is on fire today. Rittenberg is playing as well as he has done all season. Danny Mills is sat there on the bench with his crash helmet on, wondering where it's all gone wrong. I am a little bit concerned because obviously he's 6'5" in a small dugout. I hope he has got his helmet on, because if he stands up to celebrate any one of these goals, it's going to be yet another concussion for him. But fingers crossed he's got his helmet on, or he's been told he's not allowed to stand up. But as things stand right now, we're only 5 points off the top of the league and looking quite solid and secure, tucked into these playoff positions and playing really well against a team that I think are up there with us, aren't they? Where are Oxford? Yeah, Oxford are in 10th place. So they're around about similar quality to what we are. And it ties into what I was saying before the episode. Not before the episode, because you couldn't hear any of that. And I'm home alone, so I shouldn't have been saying anything. But what I was saying at the start of the episode about consistency and how we can go and do this to a team of a similar standard to us and absolutely rip them apart. But then we could just as easily go to a team in the bottom half of the league next week, put out the same 11 players, and because of lower league and inconsistency and form and all that lovely stuff that makes this game so much fun to play, we'll get absolutely spanked ourselves, because it just seems that, I don't know about you lot, but that's the thing I'm finding most difficult of all in the lower leagues in FM18 is putting together a run of games, because it just seems to be, whereas previously morale was so important to all of that, now maybe not so much. I don't know. Dynamics does obviously play a part. It's one of the other reasons we're trying to churn through some of the players who perhaps aren't very happy. Goodliff, who left, had just started moaning about being unhappy that he wasn't getting in the team. So it seemed like an ideal opportunity to move him on to Basingstoke, bring in a better replacement who could actually have a chance to play in the team and isn't unhappy. So he's not causing issues on the dynamics. And I'm trying to be as careful as possible with moving players on the moment they show any kind of sniff of unhappiness. The big issue there is Jack Compton, who's on a lot of money and has absolutely no incentive to leave. Right, I want to be able to take both of these guys off. Chambers can play in midfield, apparently. I wonder, he's an accomplished defensive midfield player. Should we just stick him in, if we take Akabuini off and stick Chambers just in there? I wonder if that might be an acceptable substitution to make in the circumstances. We're going to do it anyway and hope it doesn't mess things up. We'll drop back to just standard mentality as part of doing it, and I think we'll leave it there. Danny Mills, I've got my eye on him, not just to stop him banging his head on the roof of the dugout, but come on with 10 minutes to go for one of these two, probably Rittenberg, just to offer up something a little bit different. just to be a big lanky giant, basically. So let's get him on up front there. Apparently not. Danny, can you hear me? No? He's banged his head. Danny, there we go. He's going to come on, be our defensive forward, and just get his head on the end of stuff. That's the plan. Is he going to get his head on the end of this? I think he did. Eventually, it ended up on Danny Mills' head, and he heads just wise. I hope the ball isn't too hard, because, could have given him a concussion heading the ball like that, but hopefully it hasn't. And I feel like Vince McMahon mocking people for concussions. I should stop. It is a serious issue. Danny, I hope you don't hit your head again. You're not weak because of it. Right. I think we've won this game. We have won this game. Marvellous. We actually, we've mugged them a little bit there, but we don't care at this point. And there you go. Here's some banana skins, like what we were just talking about. Chelmsford and Kingstonian, both at home. I predict we won't win both of those matches, even though everything about what you've just seen suggests they should be 2 comfortable home wins. Guarantee they're not. Well, Bobby's back, and Forest aren't interested, so I assume he didn't impress on his trial. Let me know down in the comments how all this works. I've never, in all my years playing Football Manager, had a player of mine go out on trial to another club before. I think I've had people ask occasionally, and I've said no, because they weren't considerably bigger clubs. And I've obviously taken lots of players on trial, especially over the summer, but never let anyone go out on trial before, so I kind of expected them to come back with a bid for him, but I guess maybe not. So Bobby Biddle is back and goes straight back in goal for us today. Forest must have seen something in him to want him on trial in the first place. We make a couple of other changes as well. Chambers comes in for Barrett at right back, and Ovenden comes back into the midfield in place of Clutton. Other than that, it's the same team that were out before, and we're really just making these changes to freshen things up a little bit. I wanted to get Chambers in the team because I think he's a player we need to get in the team as soon as possible, because he's got good experience at this level and he is an improvement on what we've got to offer from pretty much everyone else in our defence, so we need to get him into the back four somehow. I feel like not being fully match fit will do less damage at right back for the time being. Plus, Lionel Stone's our best player and Alan is our captain, because Stone rejected the captaincy in the summer, so it's hard to drop one of those right now. I guess it will be Alan who loses his place in the side, but then we've got the potential issue of upsetting our captain, which, it didn't cause too many problems when we upset Compton, but I really don't have to have a 4th captain inside 6 months. That starts to suggest I don't know what I'm doing, and that's an impression I don't want to provide my superiors with here at Bath City Football Club. That's what they're called, isn't it? Yes, Bath City. Splendid. It still sounds like somewhere where you go and buy baths from, but apologies if you're a Bath fan. We've just gone 1-0 up. Was it Ovenden? Free kick whipped in by Henchcliffe. I'm surprised it's Ovenden who's on the end of it, but he's in absolutely acres of space, so he struggled to miss from there, and he did try. He headed that straight into where the goalkeeper's hands should have been, just above his head, but somehow the keeper's managed to let it through his hands and get his head out of the way of it. So despite it being straight at him, it has ended up in the back of the net. We go 1-0 up, and Rittenberg's just nodded that down beautifully for Lewis Robles. It was like having Mills and Robles back together again. It was a beautiful flick on. Rittenberg, I think, is a big lad himself. He's not Danny Mills territory, but he's still tall enough, and showed it there with a lovely little flick on. And it's a shame Robles wasn't able to convert that, and too many misses like that, Lewis, and we're going to have Danny Mills back in the team. We've got 3 very, very good strikers for this level now, and it's a lovely ball from Rittenberg, and Robles misses again. Come on, Lewis. We've got Danny Mills sat there, helmet at the ready. He will be coming on if you keep missing sitters. I would suggest that's probably 2 clear-cut chances that Lewis Robles has had. We'll confirm it when we get back onto the match screen. Yeah, we've had 2 clear-cut chances, 1 half chance. I think the goal was probably the half chance. Although, I don't know, free header in the area, that might have gone down as clear-cut. That second one from Robles was definitely a clear-cut chance. The first one felt like it probably should have been as well. So, if we end up not winning today, a lot of the responsibility of that's going to go on the shoulders of Lewis Robles. And, it's reflected in his rating, a 6.4. Is the kind of rating that leads to Danny Mills warming up over half-time, hopefully not going to bang his head on the tunnel as he runs out to warm up, while the rest of us are having a chat and a cup of tea and maybe a Kit Kat. I like a Kit Kat. Have we got any Kit? There's no Kit Kat. There were Kit Kats out here, but they're now all gone. Oh, Ovenden with another chance to score from... I think that was another Rittenberg flick on and another Ovenden opportunity from a set piece, but this time it's Rowe who gets the header. Ovenden with the cross. Real Ovenden is having a fantastic game back in the team now. He's been missing for a few games, but he's doing... that's a goal and assist for him now. It's a lovely little cross from a position he doesn't often find himself in. And likewise with Rowe, really, it's not a position you expect to see our flying left winger in, but he met that beautifully. It was a lovely header. 2-0 up, and we find ourselves with 40 minutes to go. As things stand, 4 points off top of the league, up into 4th place, and everything's starting to look quite rosy again. And I like things that are rosy. Oh, I am keeping an eye on Robles though, and that looked like that went into the back of the net. I assume it's hit the crossbar. I was absolutely convinced it was a goal, but it hasn't been given, so, even if it went in, it doesn't matter because it didn't count. But Mills is very much in warm-up mode now. Robles has got 3 minutes to score a goal, or I'm taking him off, and they've just hit the post now. It's all getting a little bit desperate. Chelmsford have had 4 clear-cut chances. We are absolutely clinging on to 2-0 right now. So let's get Mills on. Is there any other changes we want to make right now? I mean, the rest of the team seem to be doing all right. Sharp, not so great at left back. We might bring Osborne on for him, which is it's a familiar substitution that we're making quite a lot, and it might be time to swap them back over as starting left back again, because Sharp hasn't really found the kind of form we were hoping for since he's been in the team. And what is the point of bringing on a 6'5" striker if he's not going to help defend the set pieces and stop stuff like that happening? Right, Osborne's going to come on at left back, and we've got Clutton and Barrett. Clutton maybe for Akabuini in a minute, mainly because I can't say his name properly, so it makes sense to take him off on that basis, because then I don't have to continue to embarrass myself. In fact, I've talked myself into it. Clutton, on you come. Can you actually come on? This screen just doesn't want to cooperate with me. Right, here we go then. 10 minutes to go. Can we hold on? Cling on. It's now only 2 points. Something's gone on at the top of the league, but they've equalised. For a minute there, we were only 2 points behind Chesham. Oh, it's offside. We're still 2 points behind Chesham. There you go. Biddle learnt how to do that. Forest, clearly drawing an offside out the opposition. That's what you learn in the Championship. And, that's a beautiful challenge from Rowe. And Danny Mills should have scored. And he gets a second opportunity and doesn't miss the second time. He's very fortunate to end up with a goal there, because he did miss an absolute sitter as part of this move. Rittenberg did very well to play Rowe in. I thought it was a lovely pass. It wasn't. It was an interception. A lovely challenge from Rowe. Mills should have scored the first time of asking. He didn't miss. Second time around. And Danny Mills, a rare goal for him this season, but it's good to see him back on the score sheet. And are we going to grab a fourth now to really rub it in? Because we don't deserve 4, but that's exactly what we've got. We've had 3 clear-cut chances. Chelmsford have had 6. And we're beating them 4-1 because we're the clinical team. We've got Robles and Mills and Rittenberg, and clearly Lionel Stone as well. I mean, we've just been deadly from set pieces today. It's 3 set pieces and a breakaway goal are where our 4 goals have come from. So we are flattering ourselves a little bit with the scoreline, especially if we now make it 5. That really is harsh on Chelmsford. I mean, 4-1's harsh enough because they don't deserve to be beaten like this. But I guess they just need to get a little bit better with their set pieces. Or perhaps have numbers that don't look like they're being crossed out on the back of their shirt, because that's just confusing. But there we go, 4-1. We've won 2 matches on an episode. We never win 2 matches on an episode. What is the world coming to? Are we still 2 points behind top of the league, though? That's the important thing, because if we're still sat hovering around there, then it's time to start getting excited about what could happen. There you go, look. Not only are we only 2 points behind top of the league, there's now a 5-point gap between us and Bognor Regis just outside the playoffs, and we're starting to look like a team that are genuine promotion challengers. And that is very, very cool, especially because my plan for this season was basically get to January and jump ship to a conference national club. But I'm kind of thinking, got to follow this through now and see if we can actually earn a promotion. If you've enjoyed that episode, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager content. And thank you very much for watching.